Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. My apologies for being a little bit late. I've just been eating my tea, to be fair. I've been wall-to-wall studying and working. I'm so busy at the minute. I've got, of course, LUFC Lucy with me. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. We're all plodding along, aren't we, through all the political and Leeds news.
I know. Party time, innit? Party time at number 10.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really frustrating as well. I didn't watch it, but I could hear my partner watching it because I've been upstairs studying and whatnot, and I was worried that Boris was going to tell us that we weren't going to be able to go to Paris on Friday. So, but apparently that's all right. That's still good to go.
I was hoping maybe like the games might get postponed again.
We could do with it, right? We could do with it. Hi to everyone in the chat. Please get your comments in. Please do like the video. Please also follow Lucy on the old Twitter sphere. We're still waiting for it to set up her own channel.
Oh,
God. Yeah, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. We're going to chat tonight. Not so much. Maybe we'll touch on Brentford and Lucy's thoughts on Sergi Canos. You can't have been too far away from that.
It was right in front of me. I had such a good view, and I was there.
Did you throw the bottle?
I cannot confirm or deny. I have a good
aim. It definitely
aim.
came from behind me anyway. It came from somewhere behind me anyway. So, yeah, Sergi Canos. So we'll touch on Brentford. We have, of course, got 49ers investment to chat about as well, what that means for Leeds United and what our thoughts are. And, of course, it's never easy being a Leeds United fan. We get everyone back to full fitness for all of 15 minutes. 15 minutes. When did Cooper go off injured? Was it like 16
quite
minutes?
Early on, yeah.
So we had everyone fit for about 16 minutes, and
literally.
then literally, and then it's fallen off a cliff again. But we'll touch on that. But just on Brentford, how was it for you, Lucy? I thought the atmosphere was a bit subdued. It didn't seem great.
Yeah, we didn't seem very up for it as a crowd. And obviously, like inside the first 10-20 minutes, I just felt like they were pulling us out of position quite a lot. They had like a fluid front line, pulling us out of position because we have that man marking tactic. And I think we came into our own on the half an hour mark where suddenly we were pressing. Dan James had a good game sort of around that half hour mark, but it was frustrating. I kind of was sat there thinking, oh God, this is quite well, I don't know. I feel like they set up a little bit like an old-fashioned like Wimbledon side or something. It was quite poor. Like they had quite a lot of possession, but I'm used to watching them play quite decent football. And I don't know if it's because they lost Tony that wasn't the case. But they still had a lot of the ball, and I was a bit panicked as to how we were going to actually break through at one point. Yeah, it was quite nervy, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It is quite interesting seeing how they've developed under Thomas Frank, because it seems to be, and I did a bit of work pre-match, that it's very much defence first. And like you said, they've come away a lot from, like, do you remember BMW, Benrahma, Watkins, and Buemo? And let's be honest, like they were lethal in the Championship. They were lethal. But they have changed now. They have a back five, 3 across the back, all massive centre backs as well.
And such basic defending, I always think for them, it's that kind of like hoof the ball away, and like a Sam Allardyce team. I just said, it's like an early like 90s way of defending. And I just thought, so even though we weren't amazing, I still just thought, I can't lose to this style of football.
No.
Yeah, it was quite.
And do you know what? I said this on the Brentford podcast as well, like the one that's been in battle with square ball.
Yeah.
But I get on with Billy. I know Billy. Obviously, he used to work for Sky and whatnot. He's a good guy, but I said on there that I just dislike Brentford. I don't know what it is, like, but I really dislike them, and I think it is because of what happened in the Championship, like with Canos headbutting Alioski, the way obviously Morpay celebrated at Ellen Road that time, and Canos did exactly the same. You know, he basically did the same celebration. So I think the most frustrating thing for me, Lucy, as a fan, was seeing him. I'm like, yo, this is Sergi Canos. This is Brentford, and he's giving it, this is mine. This is mine. I genuinely wanted to fight him. Do you know what I mean?
It just riled me. Just horrendous. And then how, like, Pontus tried to mediate with, like, the throwing of the pint on his head and
he did.
all
He was
our
like,
fans
no.
involved. He's like, I could see it because he was so close to me, like Pontus's face. He was like, no, no, don't. I could see him saying that, and then our fans are going, rah, rah, and then everybody was just being riled up. But yeah, like they said about investigating, but what do they expect? They can't react like that. They can't just provoke.
I know it sounds bitter, but there's an argument for a yellow card for him because he incited that, right? Do you know, coming over. What are you going to expect doing that? Do you know what I mean? For sure. I think, the thing is, like, I don't want to sound like I don't know what the word is I'm trying to use, but when it happens to you, you hate it. But when Rafinha did it to Brentford fans, we loved it.
Yeah, we loved it at the
end. It swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it is. But yeah, I think it was just that obviously the injury with Cooper. It was just the fact that that sub caused such chaos with positions elsewhere, and I just can't understand the substitution. For me, I'd have just thrown in a like for like Cresswell because
I didn't get it either, Luce.
Because if Bielsa is setting up in a particular way, why would it have to all change in play? I just don't get it. It was just awful. Really confusing.
And Bielsa didn't really have a clue. Let's be honest, because he was going to bring Click on, and then he went,
sat down.
Because when I was seeing Click stripping off, I was like, why is Click coming on? And you've got Cresswell and Leo Hidyeldi, I think, if that's how you say it, we're warming up. So I was like, right, okay, they're going to come on. Cresswell, totally fine. He dealt with Antonio, not bothered. Tony's not on. He'll have an easy day. And then, for him to bring Harrison on, then put Dan James back up front, Firpo on the left of a back three. It just didn't make sense to me, and still doesn't, if I'm honest.
No, I think that caused a lot of trouble for us, definitely. I just think it cost us, really. Obviously, it was good to get the point, but I felt like it was just a must-win in the end, and especially thinking about today and what's coming up and what's happened with injuries, like, I just feel like even though the performance wasn't there, it still dropped points, and at home, I just expected to win. And like I said,
a half-time, Luce, I said this, goal first half, goal second half, it still be easy. And then second half came, and I thought we were absolutely woeful, to be honest.
Yeah. And then I know, like, the first half was still quite strong, but it was just unrecognisable again in that second half, and just felt like we didn't have much width. I just think crossing is just poor. I think with Harrison, he's lacking confidence, and then you could see that he almost stopped trying to put a ball in and trying to create. I think he felt like the pressure and the crowd on him, and he is a confidence player, isn't he? And I think being put on the bench will mess with his head big time, I think, with Harrison. And that's just the main concern. There's just not any decent balls being put in, is there, whatsoever? And I just think losing Kalvin, we've got Forshaw, but it's protecting him at all costs because, again, it's how sustainable is his longevity going to be? It's really worrying, and coming against Chelsea.
I know.
Although are they still losing?
I think it's 2-2. I think
Have
Lukaku's
they
just
equalised?
scored.
Oh well,
Yeah,
great. So
Lukaku's just scored.
he's back. You've got
My
Mount
worry is
just
with him as well. Like just on Lukaku, like if he pins a centre back 9 times out of 10, he's having his way with you.
Yeah.
So I was worried about him coming up against Cooper anyway. So I don't know if it's. I don't want anyone to be injured.
Your
I don't know.
main man, Cooper.
Yeah. Do you know what my mate's dad said to me? He went, might be a blessing in disguise, that. I went, oh, you can't be saying that.
To be honest, it was the first thing I said. I just said, oh, actually,
no, man.
can we phase him? Because I just felt like we still have people to put in there, and I just felt like, oh, could we slowly phase him out? But yeah, and I was really excited about Ailing, and I felt like obviously he's going to look a little bit rusty. I think there were a few like wayward passes. There's just not masses of positives to take, and I'm sick of being inconsistent, like sitting on here and saying, "Oh yeah, we'll stay up," and then the next week saying no, and it's just so inconsistent at the moment.
This is what I'm saying. This season, if you could say to me now, if we could just get to the end of the season and be in 17th, I would snap your hands off because it's such a roller coaster ride of emotions. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about a relegation, right?
Yeah.
We then get a point against Brentford, beat Palace, a point against Brighton, won it? Brighton, Palace, Brentford. We're then going, whoa, what a difference a week makes. We're now going into the toughest run of the season with about 5 players available. So it's like how quick it just changes in football. Let's talk about the injuries. I tend to not feed into it on social media. I see, people were saying to me, have you seen this? Have you seen that? A guy messaged me on Instagram, have you seen this? Oh, no. But what I found this season, the rumours that are coming out have tended to be true. Like there was the chat about Rafinha and there was the chat about Rodrigo, and it's all tended to be true. And, Adam Pope and Phil Hay have all but confirmed that Kalvin and Cooper are definitely out long term. Still waiting to hear on Bamford. The Bamford one seems strange to me because how's he got injured, Luce? Like, because
they said the celebration.
Really? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. And I think he said, I mean, I was worried about his fitness anyway, because he said that he could tell that he was like way off the pace, wasn't he? Like he was already like blowing when he came on. So that was like my only concern at the time. But now they said about injuring himself. I mean, I felt like Melier did more damage to himself the way he like crashed to the ground. But yeah, it's still speculation. Like I don't feel like anybody has anyone officially confirmed the Bamford thing?
No.
I don't think they have.
No,
but yeah,
they
people
haven't.
were just saying the celebration. I don't know if that's just
the
rumor mill. I don't know.
Yeah, I reckon. I don't see how he'll have done that. I heard on the grapevine as well. I don't know if this is ITK, but I heard of someone that Bielsa was very, very unhappy with the team, the way they celebrated, and that the fact they didn't get the ball back on the centre circle and go again, because I think it was even brought up about, listen, I'm not being privy, it's just what someone told me. Apparently it was even brought up like about Blackburn, how we'd scored about Blackburn, and remember when we got the 2 injury time goals and that, and I think even that was brought up. Listen, it's just what I was told on the grapevine, like so apparently he was unhappy the way the players celebrated because he still felt we could have gone on and maybe got 3 points, but I don't know. There wasn't much time left, was there? But
no,
it's probably BS. But listen, I can only share what I've been told.
And I can imagine it. That's just what he's like, isn't he? He's always expecting more. But I just wanted the whistle to blow. To be honest, at that point, we'd had all game to score. But
do you know, like the big one? Obviously, if Kalvin is out, he's missed 12 games in the Premier League. in total whilst we've been back there. And if you include up to this point, so 41 games he's played in the league, and we've had 19 wins. So win percentage of 46.3. With no Phillips in the side, 12 games, we've won 2 with a win percentage of just 16.7. And it showed I think on Sunday, just how we went to pot for 10 minutes after he was taken out of the side and Brentford get their 2 goals. So is that the main concern for you, Kalvin being out, and obviously record-wise, we just don't do great with him being missing from the side, Luce?
No, and we did it in the Championship either. That was always a stat, wasn't it? The same sort of like win percentage, etc. It is a worry because he obviously just steadies the ships. He creates angles, doesn't he, for players, and then having Forshaw as well. I think it's just been incredible to have them back. But it is such a major concern. We do seem to fall to bits. And still, we would have him as he has been now. I still think he hasn't been 100%. He had that game the other week. We had an amazing first half, but I still don't think he's been 100%.
No, he hasn't.
And is this going to be like a new recurring thing where he's just in and out? And if you think about the time frame of when he's going to be due back, is he going to get shoved into all like the international duties as well? The only good thing is that nobody's going to want to buy him probably at this point going forward. Oh yeah, somebody else has just said about it's. It just kind of stops the leaking of goals. I just feel more comfortable with him being there, and then Forshaw as well. And I know we've talked about Pascal being in that role, and he's grown into it. But then obviously he's got the injury woes as well. It just didn't work for me at the back after everyone had gone off, and 3 at the back. They just filled me with no confidence whatsoever. And because we're hardly producing an end product, how we conceding and not scoring, that's going to be a problem, isn't it, going forward? Just going to leak goals left, right and centre
and struggle to score.
Look, somebody's put about him not wearing a mask. He did have a mask on. He might have just had a drink or something. Have you seen that picture?
I've seen the story. I think the fact that what's going on with the world and politics right now, and they decide to lead with a headline of Kalvin Phillips wearing a mask when the government are out having fucking parties and laughing at us all. But there you go. I've seen as well, apparently, the red top, the Sun, and they're not hardly reporting on it, and it turns out they were having a party at the same time, hence why they've been pretty tight-lipped on it. So they're all in it together. It's an absolute joke, but down with government. Guy Fawkes had it right. Guy Fawkes had it right, man. Do you know what I mean? We need someone to reincarnate and just go and do the full Guy Fawkes job.
Oh gosh.
I'm not promoting mass murder.
No, let's not. Yeah, they're going to find this, and this will be the starting point of it all.
So Kalvin's going to be massive. In and out. Who replaces him? Who replaces him for you? Is it Pascal? Is it Robin Koch? Robin Koch can't be too far away now, Luce.
Yeah, they said that, didn't they, the other week? But I feel like they've not officially said a date, because they just spring it on us last minute, don't they? And just say when he's going to be back.
It's a good shout as well by Danny. Bate, maybe Lewis Bate.
Yeah, somebody put the his name with like the blue, yellow, and white love hearts, saying that Radrazani had said Lewis Bate's going to be the new midfield replacement. Taking the mick out of the Forshaw thing. You never know. It could be. You just don't know. We were pleasantly surprised with Gelhardt, weren't we? So you don't know. But yeah, Cresswell, somebody's saying.
Ethan,
It's so tough.
So tough. I think it'll be Stroud for the next game's coming up, and then we'll see where Robin is. We don't know. We'll obviously find out tomorrow, like the true extent of the state of our squad around midday when Bielsa does his press conference, and he tells us how close Robin is, or he tells us Kalvin's going to be out till Feb, has been mentioned by a few people. Bamford and Liam Cooper. Look, Liam Cooper, I'm a big fan of his. I like him, but in centre-back, we're all right. We're stacked. We're okay. Even in the under-23s, you've got Hajeldi, you've got Creswell. We're okay there. It's disappointing for me to lose the captain. Maybe not for others, but we're stacked at centre-back.
Yeah.
Another area we're not stacked at is, of course, up front. And if the news is true that Bamford is also out, does Roberts continue there for you?
And so, let's give him some credit for the last 3 games. I think he has, for his standard, been exceptional. Like, pressing, great little runs, passes. He's looked like a little bit more intelligent with some of his decisions that he's made as well. And I think he's been probably the most consistent player. But if we're thinking long term, to remain in the Premier League, you're not relying on Tyler Roberts, are you? If we're thinking long term, he's obviously just a replacement at the moment. And if you have only got him up front, then you can only hope and pray for 17th, can't you?
That's quite funny, isn't it? What did you make to his goal, Lucy? And of course the chance then that started. My pal that I go with, can't stand him's the wrong word, doesn't rate him. And but he's not one of them, he's not shout, scream at him, he just said, look, I'm not a fan. But when he comes on, he supports him, yeah. But when they started singing Last Christmas, I gave it to Tyler Roberts. I was like singing it in his face. I was like, yeah, go on, Tyler. What did you make to his goal? It was a decent finish, got in right area.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think we score enough goals like that. We don't score enough goals of any, but really. But sometimes that's what you want. You want to put a ball in and somebody be on the end of it. It's as simple as that. And they're the ones that we tend to miss, don't we? Oh dear, they've lost all hope.
Yeah. Relegation is happening.
But yeah, like I said, credit where credit is due. He's not going to be the answer long term. But what else can we do?
Yeah.
What else can we do? It's just...
We have to hope and pray that Bamford's fit. Because he showed, didn't he, in 15 minutes, although he didn't do an awful lot.
And it was just nice to see his presence and just his general body language, just his usual movement. I kept just looking across at him and thinking, wow, that's like what we miss.
The movement gets him the goal as well, right?
No, it is. You can just see him thinking, and he makes the little runs. And I just thought, gosh, yeah, that's what we've missed. And I said, with the goal, again, Bamford is a massive confidence player. So, for instance, if he'd come back and he'd be back for the next 4 or 5 games without a goal, I think that would have got in his head quite a bit. So even though it's not like a worldie at the back of the net, I just think it did him wonders. Obviously, it meant a lot to him, as now it's paid the price probably with his celebration, but he went wild. But I just thought that was such a positive for him to get the goal going forward. So we shall see. But it's just like with Rodrigo, we're not getting goals from him necessarily. It's just, where are they going to come from? And it's just the creativity for me. There was just nothing that anybody could have, other than the Roberts goal. There was nothing that anyone could have got on the end of. It's just the poor crossing. It just drives me up the wall.
Yeah, temp name says like, and I just wanted to, but what we have to remember, right, is that Liverpool have Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson at fullback. Do you know what I mean? And City have arguably one of the best fullbacks in the world in Cancelo, can play either side. And I think we need to remember that where we are. We've got Stuart Dallas, who's a with all due respect, like a failed right winger. You know what I mean? We've got Junior Firpo, who hasn't played a lot of football. Yeah, who hasn't done anything. Yeah,
because I think what frustrated me about, for me, a fullback should be taking like your throw-ins. I felt like that didn't make sense, that our players who were taking the throw-ins didn't make sense. I just thought Firpo, that for me, that's like your role, kind of just quickly throwing a ball in, crossing a ball in. I just don't think he does any of that, whereas Alioski did. Yeah, so when I loved him against, well, not loved him, that's a very strong word, but I liked his performance against Palace, not so much against Brentford, Firpo, I would have said. It just didn't
says
work.
if we didn't get our injuries, we could have had a good result at Chelsea, because
Chelsea
Chelsea
have same.
come out. Chilwell, N'Golo Kante's out, Trevor Chalobah's out, Kovacic is out, Jorginho is out. So they're going to have what in midfield? You're looking at like maybe Barkley, Loftus-Cheek. It's not as strong. They're still, well, I don't rate Barkley all that much, but I do like
it's just their version of their squad players, isn't it, that they're trying to rely on. And obviously tonight, they've got a few back, and then they're playing some, because they've got to play them into form, I would say, because they're just not. I didn't think they were amazing. I watched them on Saturday against West Ham. And not that we are remotely like Chelsea, but they did remind me, a lot of us, in the way that they struggled to get the ball in, and they were trying to walk it in, and I think they got found out a little bit. And obviously their form for them is not amazing. Obviously they got something against Man U when they were at their lowest points. I don't think that meant much. Obviously got the loss on Saturday. I think they only had 2 wins in
they're not in
or something.
Yeah. I think they're winning 3-2 now in the Champions League.
And Tuchel were like whinging today pre-match. And what is it? What is the score? Is it still
3-2? 3-2. They're up now.
Oh, so there's me talking about it. Who scored? Well, Timo scored tonight.
Timo's got 2. Timo's got 2. Just hitting form just in time for us, Lucy. So Lukaku scoring and Timo Werner scoring just in time for a depleted Leeds squad.
And they normally play like 3-4-3, don't they? So it'd be interesting to see.
I think Reece James panics me as well. Like someone like Reece James, he'll have fun all day. Thing is with Werner, even when he doesn't score goals, he's still a nuisance. His pace causes all sorts of problems. Lukaku, people hammer him. I mean, he scored tonight. I think Werner actually got the assist as well. So an almost complete performance by Werner tonight.
Oh, God,
But even Lukaku, if he pins one of our centre-backs and just brings others into play. Look, I do think Chelsea will be up there, but some of the players, I mean, the squad's immense, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know, Havertz and Mount, and they're great, but sometimes they're not always on it. Do you know what I mean? Not like City and Liverpool at times.
Which I don't think they have been the last couple of games, actually.
No, they haven't.
So,
no.
But I mean, they're not really. They're playing in -14 in Russia, and it's not a great result. But
but what do you make to?
I'm only laughing because you said on the last one you were really like positive about all the amount of points we were getting in the next 4 games. So was I was right, wasn't I? For the last 3 games, I predicted 5.
Oh, here she goes, look. Here she goes. I'm always right.
It's where are we getting them from? Again, I'd like to get some form of point against Arsenal. I feel like they're always on like a circle of, oh my God, we're amazing. We've got world-beating players. Oh no, we've got a bad result. Get Arteta out. They're always on that cycle as a fan base, and they can be inconsistent. But from when I watch them, even when they get results, I still finding Timo. I still think like we're due a result against Arsenal. I'd like to. I don't know.
I agree with you on the Arsenal one. They're not in great form either, are they? You can't be
No.
getting beat by Everton, Lucy. Everton have been garbage. I know we were beat by Everton, but we were beat by Everton when they were half decent.
Oh,
And they had Calvert-Lewin and that.
yeah, it really angered me, that result.
Yeah.
the other night.
But the Everton that just played Arsenal have been woeful.
Yeah,
Woeful.
I thought they were poor against us, really poor. How they played and like rolled about. Well, that's what everyone does. It's time wasting. But we'll see with like the more quality opponent that we tend to excel, don't we?
Yeah, no, for sure. Please do listen to Chris and do smash a like on the stream if you haven't already. It just lets us know that you like what you're viewing. Give us a score prediction for Chelsea. Or if you can't bring yourself to give it, just tell us if we get a point.
No, I think we have to write it off.
Yeah, I feel a bit like that.
I feel like this is the one of the hits that we're gonna. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I just feel like I don't know. I've just got a feeling where I just think it's gonna be like 2-0 or something.
Yeah, I think the good thing, like Chelsea don't score loads of goals. Like that's one thing. They don't score. It's not like a Liverpool or a City where they could hit you for 4, 5, 6. I think Chelsea sometimes,
unless they're playing Norwich, they might get.
Yeah. Cass is saying, I don't know why. I'm saying 2-1, probably because you are on drugs, Cass. I am only joking though. I'm only joking, genuinely. Oh, it finished. Goals. Then it's 3-3. They've scored. It's 3-all. It's 3-0. Couldn't beat a weakened Brentford side. 2-0 Leeds. 3. I don't know. Listen, the one thing for sure is, I guess pressure's off a little bit because we're not expected to get a result. So maybe the players will also feed into that. I think there's been
Which is what we did against Spurs, didn't we? We just kind of went into it, and then we looked like the top side for the first half anyway.
Yeah.
I just think you can't predict. Yeah, it's London, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've just got Neil Warnock in my head saying it's London.
Yeah. Let's
I'm gonna be surprised.
If we are out with, Phillips, Bamford, Cooper, etc. Let's have a look. Ian says here, the thing is, some of the transfer choices have been awful. Rodrigo's been a flop. Firpo, I don't think has been the right choice, and that's fine. Let's not talk about past transfer business, but the fact that we now have these injuries, surely, even though some have been like, maybe you will, maybe we won't. Surely now, Lucy, we do have to enter the window, even if it is a loan.
I think you're gonna have to get pressured into it, aren't you? I don't know how they can justify it, even if it's just like you say, a loan where maybe we're not spending lots, but it's just to try and get some sort of replacements. It's just I can't see how you could carry on. I don't know what they would say in order to say that was okay. Other than looking at the under-23s, they'd probably say, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think even like that striker we've been linked to, forget his name now. He plays for Espanyol, maybe, or maybe wrong.
I've not seen.
Let me just get his name up now. By the power of the internet, apparently it's in my bookmarks. His name is Espanyol striker Mateo Joseph Fernandez. So it was reported by the Mail Online and Leeds United Live that we've beaten off interest from Barcelona, Man City and Liverpool and agreed to sign him on a release clause of 1.3 million.
Wow.
He's a striker. He's 18, I think. Like, that's okay, but that's not coming straight into our first team, I don't think, is it, Lucy? And I think we need first team signings.
Yeah, and then you've got the Bielsa ethos, which is he doesn't throw people in straight away. Obviously, he has had to with Dan James, hasn't he? He's had no choice, so perhaps. Jesse Lingard would be. I've always said that. Yeah, they'd probably be forced to. Oh yeah, John Swift said that as
Gabriel,
well.
I read that as actually his name was what's his name? Imagine that. Gabriel, what's his name? But we do need something, don't we? I think Chris put it earlier, and I was discussing this with my pal actually, about even Samu Saiz. Like for me, when Samu first when he first played under Bielsa, then first games when Bielsa came in, I mean, he was good, under Christiansen, but the way that he was just so good on the ball, the low centre of gravity, that's what we're missing for me. That is what we're missing.
Oh, him with Alioski, it was just like the best link-up play ever. And then people slate Saiz and think that it was a bit of a flop, but
No, he wasn't.
I think he just injected a bit of like. I always want like a Max Gradle type, somebody's everywhere creating. I always want that kind of exciting player, and we do need somebody like that. But yeah, I think even you need a backup for up front, and you do need like a centre mid, because I just think we've just not got the options there at all. Don't really need. I don't think we need anyone at the back, even though I don't really rate like the full back options as such, but I don't think that's where the investment needs to be. It needs to be some sort of centre forward, somebody in the middle. That is based on past Januaries. That's gonna be the way, isn't it? The Leeds way.
Happy birthday, Ian. Well, Darlington fan, aren't you? And for your sins, mate. But thank you for watching as per, and happy birthday, pal. So January is going to be interesting. The return of the Daily Leeds will be back as well. It's going to take a lot of graft, but I'll report as much as I can on transfer news. Silly season in full swing. Let's bring it round to. I don't even know if it's a positive, Lucy, because I don't know how to feel about it, if I'm honest. But this talk. Lucy looks like my auntie. There you go. You're related to Ian.
Oh, great! Is that a good thing?
Well, he's normally aunties are older.
I normally get ID'd in a shop normally. So
normally aunties are older, and he's 48. So you must look about 60 odd.
Well, I might take that as a compliment, because I'm 33 and I get ID'd buying like ibuprofen. So
I'm 33 and I definitely don't get ID'd. So there you go. But yeah, so the 49ers Enterprise have an option to buy 100% of Leeds United, and that includes Ellen Road, by January 2024. It's for an agreed price around 400 to 475 million. That does include the amount that's already been paid, because they increased up to 44% in November. So they've got to find about another 200 million. Sources are saying that the total buyout is actually likely to be before 2024. And Andrea Radrizzani might retain a small stake in the club, which would make sense. Why wouldn't he do that? I was having a look, and apparently there's also a clause in there that it can be voided if Radrizzani himself or his company buy another football club anywhere. So, because we know that he was looking at Salernitana, the Italian club, at one point. So apparently there's a clause in there that says if you go buy another club, this deal is void. I don't know why they would put that in there. That's there, but obviously Radrizzani came out on Twitter and had his little 10 penneth. But the one thing that he didn't do is he didn't deny it.
Right.
He just says, I have the ability to void it if I want to. But he didn't deny it. So it's out there in the ether. It looks like we might eventually, and I think it will happen. I think it's always been gearing up to this, that the 49ers will take over. How does that make you feel? Or are you a bit like me, Lucy? You just don't have a clue how to feel about it because we don't know enough about them.
It's looking at what kind of investment is it going to be. It's going to obviously be a modern day investment where they're just going to focus on like the commercial side of things, aren't they? So they've got 4 billion of wealth. Is it going to be like a a Liverpool takeover, a Glazier, Man U style, where I think as a Leeds fan, I'm still quite proud that we're quite modest compared to other clubs. I know obviously you need money and that's the way that the game's going, but I still love the fact that we have Ellen Road. When I was watching like the Everton game the other night, I thought, I still love Goodison Park as a ground. And I know it looks fantastic where they're moving, but I don't want that. I never wanted it in the like Ridsdale days, and I never wanted to move. With Rads though, it's like a no-brainer what he bought it for. What, 45 million, and it's a 475 million baht. He's a businessman. Like, why would you not? But it can be a blessing and a curse, can't it? But then it's sad because it's like the only way to compete, isn't it? Especially in the Premier League. Is it just going to go that way where that's what every club is going to have to be like? What's happened with Newcastle? And I quite like that Radrazani has invested quite a lot, but not on the scale that other clubs have. And like I said, that I feel like we've still... Well, he kind of reignited that community spirit again. Like, he's brought the club back together. I think he's done a lot. And I'm just really proud and really pleased. But then obviously you've got everyone moaning about transfers. And I understand why he hasn't been able to do anything particularly so much this season. But we'll see in January. Definitely in the summer they will, 1,000%. But yeah, like I said, we will see, won't we? I don't know how to feel, but I kind of love the fact that we're not a Man City or a Chelsea. I don't want to lose our identity and, become like just a stupid brand. And do you know what I mean?
No, I get it. No, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense. But obviously, you want endless cash and let's go buy Haaland and whatever. But
that would be amazing.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously,
of course,
but it's like it's our identity. I don't want that to be compromised. And we've had so many bad like ownerships, haven't we, in the past? Do they fully understand? Because in America, it's all about commercial, isn't it, and branding, and do they understand anything
about football?
Yeah,
no, I hear you. Let's be honest. Like, I remember seeing a clip of I don't know which Glazer it was, but he was talking about he was addressing a school or something. And he was talking about an American footballer or whatever sport they play. I don't know. There's some hockey or whatever. Is it? I'm assuming is it baseball actually? The Glazers. I don't know.
I don't know actually.
But he also then went, and Cristiano, he came through our academy, and it was like, no, he didn't. Like, no, he didn't. And they were absolutely getting battered for that. So it's like, you don't want that, do you? You don't want someone, addressing fans or whatever, just saying stuff that's just factually incorrect and making you look like fools. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I think with all the the European side of things, when like everyone sold their souls, didn't know, like the big six. It's just, you just don't want to be one of those teams. You don't want to like sell your soul. But yeah, no, like I said, I don't know how to feel. It'll be pressured, wouldn't it? Like people are saying in the comments, like, we have to survive anyway. Would they even be interested? Because with investment comes pressure. They would want European football year in, year out. Do you end up where you become like, say, a Spurs, where they always seem to be in trouble, don't they? Like financially, because they haven't been able to kind of keep up with remaining in Europe, etc. And they've spent a lot, haven't they? And
just touching on what Ben says here, Leeds, wouldn't it? How could you prevent it?
You don't have I just think that's the way it's going. You don't have a choice anymore, do you?
And let's be honest, Luz, with them same fans put up with Bates, put up with Cellino. So and I'm not digging anyone out. Like, what I'm saying is we're powerless. We are powerless. If a guy look at Sheffield United, their owner's just gone, I'm not a football man. I don't care. You'll not be seeing anything of me. I don't care anymore. What can they do?
And they can't
They
do
are powerless.
anything. And
Can't do anything.
and Leeds fans will argue that they, did protests and people didn't go to games back then.
Yeah.
But I still went to games. I would still always. It's even if I disagree with who's in charge and how things are being run, it didn't stop me going to a game. I'm still lining somebody's pocket. And like I say, you don't get a choice. And we've seen it time and time again, like with Man U with their pathetic little protests, and then like Everton with like 3 people walking out on 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make a difference, does
No,
it?
it doesn't. No, it doesn't, mate. You're right.
Remember when they flew a plane over LMO with like Bates out?
Didn't they?
What a waste of money.
What was the thing where the superimposed it onto the side of the stand when Cellino was in via lights? Do you not remember?
I must have blanked that horrible image
what
out.
what was it we put on the side, man? It was like a projector.
Right.
Oh, I'll have to find it. It definitely did happen. And then obviously, like, do you remember when Cellino wouldn't let Sky into the ground and that? Like,
he didn't like anyone, did he? In the end, it's all that sort of petty. They're people that are on power trips, aren't they? That don't care, and people criticise Radrizzani, but I've always had the impression that he really does care, and that's what I've always really been fond of. And we've seen with Orta, he really does care when he gets all wound up, doesn't he? But again, people are critical of them, but people say, like, for me, I'm just so aware of the past that I'm always so thankful of like little graces such as Radrizzani and Orta. But people say, just because we've had bad in the past doesn't mean that we have to put up with this now. But I always disagree because I just think, what else could they have done? They've turned everything around. Oh, is that it?
I found the image. Sorry. I did. Yeah. Do you remember?
In purple, his favourite colour.
Yeah. Do you remember? I knew it. I knew I didn't imagine it. That's the wrong one. I need to put that one on. Yeah, I knew I didn't imagine it. But you're right. And I think as well, Lucy, what I will say, like with Radrizzani, even going to Ellen Road now, it's a bit of an experience in terms of little small things like the fan zone, like the centenary square, all them sort of things that when I take my son for the first time, I can take him around and show him, oh, here's the centenary, and they've got all the legends on here, son, and this is where your Stonies that I bought you, and this is the fan zone. They have music, whereas none of that was there.
No, well, they had to cut costs, and they like
Do you know what I mean?
shops. I know exactly what you mean, and that's what I mean. He's revitalized so much, and I think we weren't united as a fan base. I think we were all bored, fed up. I remember a time where I just went out of obligation. I didn't necessarily enjoy going anymore. And they have reignited that. And like you say, it is an experience to look forward to going to Ellen. Well, maybe not so much at the minute. Look forward to going to Ellen Road. But yeah, I know what you mean. So you want a balance, don't you, where you're in touch with the fan base, you're providing services that are like Premier League-esque.
Yeah.
And
Danny's bang on. Yeah. Danny's bang on. It needs to be done right, doesn't it? I think, if Man United weren't the machine that they are in terms of creating revenue, they'd be knackered because their signings have been woeful. But they have a bottomless pit of money, so they'll never not be okay. And like, look at Liverpool as a fan. It can be done right. I guess it's watch this space, innit? It's watch this space. We don't know enough about the 49ers. I don't know how I feel about it. Let's have a look here. Look, we've got Desert Toon here. He's a Newcastle fan. Welcome. He says, I'm American. The 49ers are a very well-run organisation. Their owners, the Yorks, so focus is running the 49ers. They aren't Walmart, C. Kroenke, or debt merchants like Glazers. So that's a good thing then.
Yeah, and I think they have made an effort, haven't in the past when we've seen the 49ers alongside players or Radrizzani, they've come over, they've tried to tap into that culture, which is appreciated. But yeah, I don't know that much about them, but that's like a comforting comment, isn't it? Really, because yeah, you just don't want to go down that sort of Liverpool Man U route. Um,
Look at
yeah.
Danny. Danny's smashed my my child's first day. Would you, do
Experience.
you want me to go around and go, son, ignore all this shite. It's just for money. It's just for money, mate. Oh, that stone that I bought you there, it don't mean shit, man. It's just so they drink Fosters. But no, of course. But that's also what Danny's saying. He, obviously motives behind it and that. But it's still made the experience better. And
No,
if
but
it's bringing more money into the club,
clever business,
yeah,
isn't it? Because it
exactly.
doesn't come across as like uncaring, but he is a superb businessman, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's made it work
yeah,
for everyone and he's made it work for himself and
yeah.
he's successful, isn't he? So
Yeah, I always remembered I think it's the opening episode on TAKEOVER where his dad says to him in Italy, I don't know why you've bought a football club. Told him not to do it. The this, the that. And sometimes it hits, or sometimes it misses, like Mel Morris at Derby. With
yeah,
Radrizzani, he's hit the jackpots. Like you say, what he's paid for it, what he's going to sell it for in a couple of
yeah,
years' time. I mean, he can just ride off into sunset, can't he? You know
yeah.
what I mean?
No, he's incredible. And obviously we've been here so many times, like rumours of takeovers
Yeah.
and nothing's been pulled off. And then obviously Radrizzani, that one has all worked out. And I know people want more and expect more, but because we've just been in the pits of darkness, I'm always just so grateful with what's going
Yeah.
on. I do settle,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
fine,
probably
though.
wrong, but it's because I've sat there on a Tuesday night against Rotherham and it's just like Steve Evans in charge and it's just horrendous and
Rocking
I'm
about
just
in his
grateful.
sombrero.
Yeah, yeah, he got us Bielsa, yeah, probably the best
Yeah.
signing ever.
As a Leeds
Yeah,
United fan, Lucy, you'll look fondly on Radrizzani's tenure as custodian of
always.
our football club.
Always,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and can't say that has ever happened before
Mm,
because you've had the good Ridsdale days, but
yeah.
it's cost
Went
us
to shit, didn't
16, 17 years. So,
it?
but
There
other
you
than that, I've
go.
never known good ownership.
Yeah, that's what I
No,
mean. So we will look fondly on this time. John B says, Joe and Lucy have cheered me up. I'm excited now.
excited. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm quite excited, but
I don't think Lucy does. I don't think Lucy does excitement.
no, I'm not that
No.
excited about a lot of things.
But no, listen. I think that's been a great show. I've enjoyed that as per. Is there anything else? Oh, I'll tell you what, before we do go, what did you make to Victor Orta?
Yeah, so when he was
Yeah.
helping, I still don't understand what it was about. So
People are telling me it was a fan. I'm not
yeah,
buying that.
no, my understanding was that it was somebody. I read a comment where somebody was slating, "Oh, we've paid this much for Laurenti, we've paid this, we've done this," and then he's overheard. And but I don't know, would he have been that rash? Would he have been that rash? Again, with a fan, I don't. And then I think, could he
I thought
be
that.
pointing at the Brentford? I don't know. I
Yeah,
do
I
love
felt
it though.
this history there between Orta and Brentford. There's history between the ownerships from the Championship.
Yeah,
Something kicked off in the tunnel after the Canos situation, and then Morpay and the. Trust me, yeah, there's no love lost there. And
yeah,
if
it
they won
must be
2-1,
that.
they'll have been giving it Orta, and then for Bamford to score so late on, he's like going, shh. I don't see
I
how
can't see him doing that to a
to a fan.
fan.
No,
Yeah.
and Angus and that wouldn't have been laughing. They'd have
Yeah,
been
because I
going,
just love
this is
Angus. I think,
suicide. This is
yeah,
PR suicide. Get out of there, Orta. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. No, you could tell Angus just thought, "Oh God, it's Victor
Yeah,
being Victor," like
yeah, yeah,
smirking.
yeah.
And obviously, there were a few people trying to calm him down. But
Mm,
I love Victor. I know a lot of people were saying,
yeah.
"Oh, he's not composed himself professionally," but
Who
I
cares?
just love that. I think he like to say he's obviously not from Leeds, but I just
That's
think
Leeds, though, isn't it?
it is. He epitomises the Leeds fan. That is just all of us.
That is how all of us would react in that scenario.
Literally what I was like against Canos.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's me.
I got caught in 4K like
that. I saw your picture.
I mean?
It's amazing. What a moment.
I know. I was fuming. But that's what I mean. That's what a fan does. And if a Leeds fan wants to say they would be able to, show decorum in that situation, not having it. He'd be going off it. But there you go. Victor Orta is a legend in my eyes. Yes, he's had a few duds, but he was involved in bringing us Bielsa. He's got us Rafinha. People forget, Ilya Melier, Geldart as well, who will have a massive future. The club from top to bottom is just transformed.
Of course it
is. Transformed.
It is. And all the work they do in the community and like Bates, all them, like, they cut all of that off. Like how many shops were shut down and now they've reopened them. They just create all these opportunities.
Chelino had them washing their own fucking kits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just a dark time, and we can never forget. And people slate Orta. I think was it after the QPR game where he's got his head in his hands. There was that image of him in the Championship and everybody panicked so badly. But I feel like he's always delivered in the end.
Yeah.
And people will have been saying something about Rodrigo and Firpo being flops.
Yeah, seen it.
Not necessarily. I think it's just a bad run of form. The team's just not. There's no cohesion. We've still got to give everybody time. I think he's done wonders with transfers. Obviously, not necessarily like Big Kev, but that you couldn't foresee that. But I think he has, under the radar, he's always delivered, and they've always gone above and beyond. And people that slate him, I just think. I just can't forget the past.
Short memories, mate. Memories.
And people say you're allowed to feel that way, but I don't know. I just think you've got to be grateful. It can't.
There's Leeds, that podcast, which I listened to.
Yeah.
Season ticket holders. They put a tweet out to say, and I think you mentioned it just a second ago, that a fan near them had said Llorente was a flop, and they also said getting sacked in the morning. Now, if you genuinely believe that, there's, for me, and again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there's no hope for you.
No, because there isn't.
Llorente's been exceptional for me. He's arguably the best centre-back at the club. And Bielsa getting sacked in the morning because we're losing 2-1 to Brentford. Have a day off.
Yeah, no, I think one of those lads, they sit near me, and I hear it all the time around me. It's just sort of moronic behaviour. I just can't understand it. Dan James got slated a lot again on Sunday around me.
I did call him shy at one point when he was offside for the third time. I went, he's shit. 25, he's shit. He can't even be onside. And then I was like, all right, calm down, Joe. The offside was stressing me out, though. You can't be, for me, as a professional footballer, you're not allowed to be offside more than, not in quick succession, like offside. It was just so frustrating.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, we've got to get to January. Let's see what happens. They're going to be forced to do something, and then it's just staying up, isn't it? It's going to be a frightening December. But
I'll just address. I don't know what Russell's comment is. I can't see it. Let's have a look. But what I will say to this, of course, people have short memories. I'm not for 1 second, let me just say that, saying that you are not allowed to question anything. During the start of this, we questioned Bielsa's decision to bring on Jack Harrison over Creswell and then totally switching the pack. You can question Bielsa on his persistence in playing Roberts. No doubt everybody has. No one's not doing that. People will say Cooper shouldn't be playing. Again, that's your... But what I won't say is that I don't agree with the sentiment of that, he shouldn't be a manager or anything like that. I'm not saying by saying, you have short memories, you know, you're not allowed to question anything. City fans will question Pep. You know, Liverpool fans will question Klopp. It's the nature of the beast. But I just think when you sit back and actually think about it, it's like, yeah, maybe I am being a little bit too, you know, reactionary or whatever. I think in the ground we all can be guilty of that.
Oh yeah.
But to be saying sacked in the morning and that's like crazy stuff for me.
No, it is. It's people having to look at
Yeah,
the bigger
I hear.
picture, and it's experiencing what we've been through in the past. You have got to look to the future and know that this isn't forever, this slump that we're in. And I did feel like we were turning a corner. Obviously, we've gone about 3 steps back now, but it's just so unpredictable, and we've just got to keep going and look at the bigger picture. I think the infrastructure of the club is where it needs to be, and I think if you disagree with that, then you've not been through properly the dark times in the past. Yeah.
And just to those, we didn't think you were like personally eminent at us, but I just think, you know, I just wanted to say that those that are saying short memories, there's validity to it, you know. There's a reason why it's been said, I think, because, you know, we've had fucking Heckingbottom in recent times, Steve Evans, Darko Milanic, you know, and I remember Darko Milanic.
Hocker Day.
Yeah, fucking hell, how can you forget
He
him?
got a job just from having like a conversation at a pub or something. Give
I never
me
forget,
the
I think
job.
Darko Milanic went 1-0 up against Charlton, possibly. And then he switched it at half time and went really defensive because he was like trying for this first win, and then he ended up losing and he got the sack that same day after he brought family over.
Yeah, so poor. The only one I was a fan of Christiansen. I was quite sad when they let him go, and
He was just a nice guy though, weren't he?
Yeah, and then they just replaced him with a inept manager.
Yeah,
that has somehow got another job, weirdly.
And it's a great appointment. It's a great appointment, he's Day. Look what he did with Stones, Alfie Mawson. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, we already gone over longer than we should have. But thank you as always for watching the Midweek Fix. We really enjoy doing this show. We've had plenty to discuss today. If you're watching this after the fact, please do smash a like on the video. Follow Lucy on Twitter as well. I will have Prem preview tomorrow evening. I'll have a preview for the Chelsea game. However, I am going to Paris over the weekend. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the game yet. It depends if I'm allowed. And if I am, I might do a review, but we'll have to wait and see. But thank you as always for watching. And anything you want to lead us out with, Luce?
No, let's just
pray.
Just get through the weekend.
Just pray. Just pray. At this time, I think that's all we can do. Is just have faith.
Take it day by day, and let's see where Bamford's at, and then we can panic after.
Yeah, exactly. Have faith. Faith, I think, is the thing. Don't lose your head when we get beat on the weekend. I know it's hard.
Bielsa out at the weekend.
Great stuff. Thank you, everyone.